What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Base Game Reviews Podcast, episode 10. I am back, as always, with my co-host, Warawana, and of course, I'm Jimmy Fornitron. Wara, how the hell are you? Congratulations, we're on episode 10. How you feeling?
Amazing. Upset Max couldn't make it, but he's swimming in
I think he was hanging out with a bunch of supermodels with his wife, of course.
And wife approved swimming models.
Totally. He was, I think he's out to lunch or dinner with Neil Druckmann, Hideo Kojima, I think even Corley Barlog. I know he got an invite. He still gets invites to those things. But yeah, he's out there just crushing it. But the two of us scrubs are here. We'll keep you company. We got a good show for you lined up. But yeah, how you been, man? How are things?
Oh, great. My car didn't get crashed into this week, so it's fucking me.
I saw a car that had a crumpled up quarter panel, and I was like, oh, hey, look, it's Wara.
That's an Aussie car right there.
Yeah.
But So no, I've been great. Finished Zelda not Breath of the Wild, Echoes of Wisdom, and that game was amazing, and cannot wait to show everyone the review. That'll be up later this week, so yeah.
Nice. And okay, without spoiling your review, just a quick yes or no, because again, I just leave it vague, leave it for the review. Yes or no, did the proposed performance hitches impede your enjoyment of the game whatsoever?
No.
Okay. No. So there you go, everybody. No. So I think that game is just too much fun to pass up. Even if Digital Foundry says it can't hold a 30 FPS lock or a 60 FPS lock, the game's still fun. So that's good to see. Awesome. Yeah, just crush it. I feel like, I don't know what's happened, but I feel like we need to have another round of rock, scissors, paper, or another card game or a roll of the dice, because I've just been taking these L's after L after L, and I'm working on my review for Metaphor ReFantasio. That is a hella long game. When we last spoke, what was that? I was 20-ish hours or 30-ish hours into it. I don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
So I'm a decent chunk into it, and I feel like I'm still halfway through the game. There's a lot that I'll get into in my review, but it's a long game. But we'll get into that more meta bore. Anyway, I know it's game of the year for a lot of people.
Save the hate.
Yeah, but I think those people are idiots, and we'll get into that another day. But just recently, I just crushed Alan Wake 2 DLC, The Lake House, the much hyped. But now I can kind of see the clues are coming together, why they just shadow dropped it out of nowhere, because I apparently speed ran the game in a clear time of 1 hour and 38 minutes. Wara was there to witness, but
I blinked and missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, he put his phone down for a second, put it back out, and I was already done.
That's crazy, man. Crazy.
But yeah, we've just been playing a lot of games, and just we're working on a lot of content.
Because I've been playing Space Marine 2, Say It Ain't So, PvP, and I've got a little bit of a gripe, Jimmy. It wasn't in my review because on the PvP, I wasn't trying to do a 5-stack. I don't know if you guys who watch are familiar with Rainbow Six Siege, but the best part of that game is when you go into ranked with 4 other mates and you have a full team of people to yell at, and you can just crush. You can absolutely crush when you got a team of 5. But with Space Marine 2, you've only got a maximum of 3 people, right? Yeah, that's not so bad. But the team is a team of 5. So we tried to get a 4-stack. Well, not 5, but we tried to get 4 of us. But you can't get a 4th on. So I feel like that's a little bit of an oversight from the developer, to be perfectly honest. But it wouldn't affect the score, because the game is it doesn't really affect the score. But I hope that they add that you can add more people in a group, to be honest. PvP,
so right now the maximum group you can have is 3 people. So you and 2 other players?
Yep. And it's a 5v5 PvP. So yeah.
So who are the other 2 players if it's a 5v5?
It'll be random. Yeah, it'll just be random pull in. It'll just be people who are queued as 1 or 2.
Oh, so it's not just computer, NPC. So it's okay. So I feel I'm very foreign to these types of games. So I feel like they did that so the people out there who don't have the boys to play the game with can still join these matches with randos and like still kind of like get in with a group of people.
Yeah, and that was sort of my take as well. I thought maybe that was the case. They didn't want to have a 5-stack because a 5-stack, if you're a group of 5 and you can be a lower skill to a group of 5 randoms, and you crush them because you're working together as a team. You can call out and be like, they're over here, let's go get them, and work out strategies and stuff like that. So for balancing, it's probably better. So I'm not going to like scream and yell and kick my feet about it, but it was something that I was like, oh, it's a little bit upsetting. But the thing is, I honestly believe it's just they didn't implement it because all the PvE stuff is all just 3-player. So maybe that's why. But anyway, we don't need to talk about it much longer. I just wanted to mention that's what I've also been playing some of that, and it's really fun.
Just crushing the good games. Meanwhile, I'm just like,
sorry,
over here.
Jimmy. Yeah, actually, I feel bad now. I just rubbed it in. Oh, also,
logging along. Well, I do like my, I play Elden Ring on the side and Sekiro and all that. But like, I don't know. I'm just taking all the L's over here, as is tradition.
Yeah. Oh, you finished. Oh, and congratulations, you finished your easy mode playthrough guide of the DLC. So everyone go check that out.
45 episodes, people. Like,
that's it.
I did not think it was going to be that big because the original one that didn't include the DLC, I think it was like 12 or 14 episodes. What? Yeah, okay. No, okay, yeah, it's 12, 14 episodes. So I was like, but those were like hour-long episodes. And then that was before I got the feedback from people. They like them in shorter chunks. They like them 20-minute chunks. So this time I went through and I timed it and I made sure each episode was like no more than 22 minutes.
Yep.
And then I was like, okay, this is probably going to end up being like 24, 25, so double. No, 45 episodes, which is insane. I had a lot of technical issues in the middle there, and that's why I just kept putting it off. And then I gripe to Wara all the time about like, okay, I'm going to go into this for a little bit because I think some of you might appreciate this. So like I recently changed my streaming and recording setup. I was using my Mac as my streaming PC. So I have a gaming PC, which I treat like a console, and then I only use it for gaming. And then I have my Mac, and then that's what I have my OBS and everything set up on. And that worked great for years, since 2020, since I started doing this. But recently, now that we're getting like a little bit more technical and we have this tool to like check frame rates and stuff, when I would edit my videos, I'd be like, why does the footage look kind of choppy in places? I'm like, it didn't play that way. It played like locked solid frame rate on my gaming PC. Maybe something's going on with the capture. And I did like a whole shit ton of stuff. And it would look like it was fixed, and then it wouldn't be fixed. And then I got tired of it. So I have switched to a secondary PC, which is my streaming PC now. So before you're like, oh, BGR is getting too big with their 250-ish subs. Like,
yeah.
No, this was my old PC that I was doing nothing because it didn't have a graphics card in it. And I bought a $30 graphics card off of eBay, off of a whim, and it totally works, kicks ass. And I hooked this bad boy back up, got it in the setup, and doing recordings, and I'm just having like a way better time. And I get finicky about stuff like that probably nobody notices, but just to summarize it, in short, can you stream and record and like do stuff on a Mac? Like, can you do like a Twitch channel or a YouTube channel? Yes, but if you want to get like a bit more serious about it and you want to like add a bunch of effects or you want to do more complicated setups, is it the best option out there? No. Like, it's better to just get like a cheap PC, like a workstation that you could buy off of eBay for like $80, and then pop in like a graphics card from NVIDIA that has NVENC on it, and then boom, you got yourself a streaming PC. It does not have to be that powerful, but new setup. We've been testing it out. Poor Wara, I'm like, get in here and fucking tell me if things look good. So I've been like testing it out on Twitch, and then I streamed on TikTok, and it was just like, it's just been crazy times. But that's what we've been up to.
I sent you a bunch of flowers on TikTok.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know, like it charged me 17 cents, and I was like, well, that's my 17 cents now.
That's it. And can I just say, I think it's a bit blasphemous to put a $30 graphics card in an Alienware case, but I mean, I'll allow it.
It is blasphemous, but I was not spending top dollar for something that's going to be my streaming PC. It is a damn shame that like this Alienware Aurora air conditioner looking thing, it looks like an air purifier. It's just been fucking demoted to a streaming PC. Like I wanted to get like Laura was like, Jimmy. I'll take it. And I was like, all right, let's look up how to ship things from North America to Australia. And it was like $3,000. And I was like, no.
And that's sending it with an Albatross. So, like it would have taken 14 years to get here, but yeah.
I remember I wanted to send Laura like an envelope, and then they were like, 6 months on a boat, and we can't guarantee it's gonna get there. And I was like, and then how much? And I was like, it was like $160. I was like, great, no, we're not doing that.
And then you go to turn around, and then you just see him just chuck it straight in the bin.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we never promised you to get there, and you're like, damn. But I appreciate it 100%. I appreciate 100%, Jimmy, that the thought was there, but you got to decide where your limit is.
Totally,
for sure.
Well, let's get into our first topic here, and then this is something that kind of surprised me that I've been seeing some outrage about, and I kind of get it, but I kind of don't. So let me just switch something here. So Spider-Man 2 has been officially announced to be getting a PC port as of, I think, January 30th or like the end of January, that they're going to be bringing it over. And I was shocked to see at how many PlayStation fans were livid. They were fucking pissed. And also simultaneously, Insomniac announced that all DLC, there's no plans for any further content for the game. So all of those leaks from a year ago, the Insomniac leaks that pretty much showed their whole timeline for all of their release cycles, have basically been canceled. So there was going to be like some more DLC outfits. There was going to be like, I think, a Carnage expansion or a Venom expansion, all gone. What really shocked me about this was a lot of people were like, well, if those DLCs are canceled, like my opinion on the game now is like, it's like mid, like the game's mid, or like, they're like, I like Spider-Man 1 is by far the best out of,
it's that Bird Box meme where it's like, do you see? It's not actually as good as you say. It's not a 110 out of 100 game. Anyway, sorry, keep going, Jimmy.
No, it just made me think of something that you say all the time. It's like, people, this is why it's important when you're rating a game, rate it on what it is now, not what it's going to be. It's like, that's why you got to do that. Because like I was just shocked. I was like, okay, like, but you played the whole game and you said it should have been it was robbed of Game of the Year last year, but now you're saying it's mid. And I'm like, I hate to tell you, it was always mid. Like it was just another Spider-Man game. And I'm saying that as someone, I've played Spider-Man Remastered and I played Miles Morales. And then when this came out, I was like, it's going to be more of the same. Like it's going to be the same shit. Like maybe it's just that they just changed the story a little bit and they've just added like a few new bosses. And that's exactly what it was. And I was like, okay, like I've gotten my fill of what this game is out of playing the first two. If the game comes out for free on PlayStation Plus or something, maybe I'll play Spider-Man 2, but not going to happen. But the reason why I'm bringing up this topic is the whole PlayStation porting their exclusive games to PC after a certain amount of time. And for me, 1 year, I think is more than enough time. Like for like a lot of people, like it's too soon.
That's it.
In my opinion, Laura, I want you to share your opinion on this, but in my opinion, a year is long enough to be an exclusive, to kind of uplift your platform, which is the PlayStation 5. Anyone who was going to play this game got it within the first year. So people who 100%. Still haven't purchased this game, they weren't going to be buying it anytime soon. And maybe they're just like me and they're waiting for it to become free on PlayStation Plus or for like a heavy discount or whatever. And that exclusive window is still long enough to where if you are someone on PC and maybe you played the first two and you really, really like them for whatever reason, then maybe you were enticed to buy a PS5 to play Spider-Man 2 when it released. So all of those things still happen with a 1-year exclusivity window. I still think it's important for PlayStation to have exclusive, because that's what I think draws people to a platform or to a console. So I'm not saying get rid of all exclusives. I'm not saying do day and date on PC. That's stupid as well, because that just makes your console irrelevant. But for me, I'm just shocked at how many people are like, too soon. And it really makes me think, I feel like a lot of these PlayStation owners, the only reason why they're on this platform is to say like, haha, look at what game I can play, but you can't. And I'm just like, is that the reason why you're pissed that it's on PC now? Because you can't do that anymore with Spider-Man 2? And is that really a good enough reason to be playing games, or like to be on a platform to begin with? Is to just be like, this is what I can play and you can't. So I just found the whole thing confusing as to why people are upset about it being ported to PC, and then also people's opinions changing as soon as they announced that no further DLC content was being planned. What are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah. So like, that's a lot to unpack on what you said, but you sort of touched on everything. But it's sort of what you were mentioning about them reviewing. It just hits the nail on the head. Reviewing based off of them expecting the DLC and how amazing that's going to be. Stupid to do that. You got to review what you have in front of you, and that's what like base game reviews does, and that's just how I've always been. I just talk about what I have and what I feel my experience was with the actual product in front of me, instead of going on little tangents about, oh, how cool is it going to be if we can have co-op and stuff like that. But yeah, so the other thing you were saying about people being mad about it only being a year. The company said there would be a minimum of a year. This is 13 months. It is more than a year. You're not getting DLC. What's the issue? And I want to say something. Sony doesn't give a shit about the customer who waits for a sale. They care about the people who buy it at launch.
Yeah.
And if you're going to buy it later, you'll buy it later whether it's on PC or not.
Yeah.
And I agree 100%. 1 year is long enough, because I do want to keep exclusives, because generally they run better and things like that, and they give you a reason to own property. But there does seem to be a lot of people who are the ones who brag about how many people bought this game on the console, saying, oh, I'm part of 10 other million people who bought it and played it. So those people want a lot of people to play it. That's great. And then as soon as it goes to PC, they're mad that more people will play it. And it's just annoying. I don't understand the logic. It's sort of like you said, people just want to be, I have access to something you don't, and I just don't like that mentality, because good games should be wanted to be experienced by more people,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I understand exclusives, and I'm pro exclusives. So
same.
But just timed exclusivity, and going to Xbox, I'm not even going to go into. There's no point.
Xbox, I'm just gonna say it, like, I think that was the dumbest thing for them to stop doing, like, true console exclusives. I think they should get back to that, and I think that would have made their platform a lot more enticing for a lot more people. But because they just do everything day and date on PC, there's literally zero reason to own that console if you have a gaming PC.
And the reason I sort of contradict myself by saying I don't want it to go to, or don't care that it doesn't go to Xbox, is because of Xbox's own vision is that they don't care about the console. So that's why I'm saying I don't care that it's not going to Xbox.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I'm excited that people are going to experience it. I did see some commentary on 13 months isn't technically any shorter, because it's 13 months since the final DLC dropped for it, which is no DLC. So the other game apparently was Horizon Forbidden West, which was 13 months after the DLC for that, or something like that. Like,
do they count the DLC as the photo final mode that was added, or
yeah, maybe I don't know. But yeah, like a lot of people talking about now it's going to be pirated on PC and stuff like that. It was like, well, I'm pretty sure there was a PC version already available that got leaked with but anyway, I don't know.
Totally, it's just like people who bring that up. Like, okay, you brought up. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have to interject here and say a couple of things here. So I feel like it is like super low level IQ, fucking idiot cuck shit when people bring up, one, like, oh, now it's gonna get pirated, and two, the people out there who like cheer or applaud when a game gets a bad PC port. and they're like, haha, should have bought a PlayStation 5.
Oh,
Just
dude,
buy a
don't even get me
PlayStation 5. It's like, why are you rooting for bad games? Or like, why are you rooting for like companies to like take shortcuts and do these shitty things? It's just like, you got like, the game going on a different platform does not change your experience with the game, or it shouldn't. And it's just like, you should, like you brought up, is perfect. It's just like, you should be stoked that more people get to enjoy this game that you felt should have been game of the year for 2023. So I just really feel like it's low level fucking dumb shit when people like applaud for bad ports, and then also just like have behavior like that where they bring up like, oh, like if it goes to PC it's gonna get pirated. It's just like everything gets pirated, like that's just the way it is. And it's like, but that's such a small fraction of the gaming audience, and it's like a lot of people just want to play a good game on their preferred platform, and that's just the way it is. But yeah, that's all I really had to say about that. What was your final thought?
Yeah, just the final thought is that's why fanboying for anything is bad, because you sort of you're defending the company, or you're not able to band together. So when things go to PC and the port is bad, everyone on PC bands together and they go, "This is bad. We'd want this fixed." Whereas when you hear people on console being happy about, like the opposite console, like Xbox, getting something that's bad, they're happy about it and they're cheering, and it's like, why? A bad game is bad for every gamer who wanted to play that game. Even if, it's just selfish mentality, and I don't like it. I hate it. Like, I want
or when
games
people
to be
stick
good.
up for like really dumb decisions that like, this isn't a topic that we're going to go into, but like when people are like, I don't think it's that bad to ask for a PSN account for a single player game. Like I have lots of accounts that I have to log into. It's just like, why are you sticking up for a corporation that literally would pull the life support plug on your mom for an extra $10? It's just stop it. You are a cuck. That is cuck behavior. Stop it. Like, we're not like, stop that behavior. Be an actual person and take a stance and say that is dumb. But like, and then I hate when people lean back on the fence and then they go, well, if you really are passionate and want to play the game, then you will accept that you have to. It's like, we know that if I want to play the game on PC, I do have to unfortunately give in and then link it to a PSN account. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it a smart thing to do, or a great decision. So you can say two things. You can say that requiring a PSN account for a single player game is stupid and wrong and shouldn't be done. And that doesn't make the second statement of, I really enjoyed my time with Spider-Man 2 on PS5 or wherever I played it. I thought it was a great game. Those two statements do not cancel each other out. So you can say that the decision to make it a PSN link game on PC is stupid, and it could still be a good game. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I actually asked someone yesterday, one of my bosses, and they're not a gamer at all. They don't play games, and actually they're hell against games. And I just said this. This is exactly what I said. I said, can you just give me, I just want to ask you a question. If you bought a new Mercedes, and then 3 months later, they told you, the dealership, after you got a service, they said you have to link your Microsoft account to your car's center console, like the computer. What would your reaction be? Be like, why? If I didn't have one, how would I do it? Like, they would tell you have to make one. I'd be annoyed that I wasn't told, like when I bought it, right? And I said, well, what about if you were shopping for a car and you were told you had to link the Microsoft account to that car? And they're like, well, I definitely wouldn't be happy with it. But obviously, then they just started asking why, because it was a really obviously weird question. So I explained why. But yeah, they agree. Like, you make it about other things, and it doesn't make sense. That would not happen. You would not be forced to link it to. Like, I know Microsoft doesn't own Mercedes. It's not the same thing. I get that, but it's especially what they did with Helldivers was terrible. Forcing it later, but anyway. That's just what I wanted to say. I wanted to get a perspective that wasn't within gaming to see how people would react. And like I said, I've only asked one person, but I'm going to ask a lot of people that question, just see how they react. Because people are not going to be okay with it. It doesn't make sense. Just because you got an account doesn't mean you want to link it to something else. Yeah.
Yeah, something like when you're comparing it to like a vehicle, like that's a bit more extreme. But if you compare it to like, what if it was an app, like an app that you liked, and because a lot of apps do this, where it'll be like, oh, like a calorie tracker or like a step tracker or something,
linked to Facebook,
and then you use it forever just on its own through the app, and then out of nowhere it'll be like, oh, do you like this app? Like, to use these features, we want you to make an account now. And then you're like, well, I don't want to make an account. And then can I just go back to using the app? And then they're like, no, you can't. You have to make an app. A lot of people, some people will just be like, oh, well, I really like this app, so I'll make the account. But a lot of people will just be like, okay. And then they just won't use it anymore. And then they'll just move on.
I actually just realized this has happened before and it got reversed. MetaQuest, when it was bought by Facebook. When they bought the Quest, they said you now have to link, because I remember Angry Joe having a major thing about it.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is stupid, because if your Facebook account gets banned, and I hear people getting banned all the time, or at least timed out or whatever it's called. I don't go on Facebook very often, but I do my best to not link things to Facebook because I know they're just selling my data. I don't want to. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was apparently you had to have a Facebook account to link it, and now they changed it so you don't have to or something like that. But anyway, that's enough on that. I just, just laying over and taking it. I thought
that was so. I just think it's dumb. It's just like, come on, like PlayStation, Sony ponies or Sony fans. It's just like, get a fucking grip. And it's just like, who cares if your game is going to another platform after a year? Let it go. You played the game already. Just enjoy the time that you had with it. And it's just like, be stoked that more people are going to enjoy the game. And like, I don't know, maybe be there to support them or make some guides or whatever. Like, do something to positively contribute to the community rather than just being a cuck piece of shit talking about piracy and like laughing when there's a bad PC port. Bad behavior, not demure, not very nice, as the kids would say. Let's move on to our next topic here. You're like, please stop, Jimmy.
No, I mean, their behavior's cringe. Yeah.
So War and I were talking about games that we're excited for in the future. And one kind of came up that we've been like pondering about, kind of like, for me it's been more of a joke, but like War has been getting into this. So War, I'm gonna let you just go into your little spiel here about what we were talking about.
So I don't know exactly what context, because obviously I rant a lot. Are you referring to me talking about how Corey doesn't actually want to make games? Is it that part? Yeah, cool, good. Okay, so let me just use IGN's article on when Corey announced the new director for God of War Ragnarok. He said that they, I won't quote it, but he just said that they always change directors. It's a thing that they always do. We've had really good success with that, and he's pretty good. And Corey mentioned that the new director is really good at what he does. So Ragnarok wasn't directed by Corey, so he could do his new project. This is something from the article as well. This is a quote from Corey. This is exact quote. So you've got to con someone else into doing it, like him. Sorry, I don't know if that's a quote from Corey, but like the idea is that you're conning someone into something, conning them into it. Like they don't want to do that. And then in this thing that Jimmy's showing now, the making of documentary, he mentioned that he didn't want to make games. He worked on God of War 1 because he wanted money to then hopefully get into movies, and he wants to make movies. And so he's currently working on the God of War Ragnarok TV show in some capacity as an executive producer. I'm not saying he's solely working there, but my sort of issue with Corey is that I was sort of excited to see a new IP, because I don't really care about God of War, to be perfectly honest. Mm-hmm. But you can't deny the high visual fidelity. So, cool for people who love visual fidelity. But at the same time, at first I was excited about Corey's new game. And then I started looking into interviews and looking at him talk. And I'm just like, this dude wants to make movies. Why am I excited for a game he's making? I don't care about movie games, right? And I want a game where the director is really pushing the gameplay side of things. And I feel like the God of War 2018, and I've platinumed it, by the way, it's just a game that's got very basic mechanics. Yeah, very basic mechanics, like a more of a kid's game. Like I was playing Paw Patrol, and I'm like, wow, this feels like a lower visual fidelity game than God of War, but with same basic mechanics.
Bro, now, God of War is a beat 'em up with a cinematic beat 'em up. That's all it is.
Yeah, someone was arguing with me the other day, and he's like, okay, when I said that the combat felt wooden. And he's like, combat wooden in God of War? I don't even know what you're on about. And I'm just like, you're beyond help. Like, if you don't understand I did try and explain it. And I'm just like, okay, he's not wanting to engage with what I'm saying. But the combat is so basic. Jimmy, when he was streaming it, was showing how basic the attacks were. You couldn't run. The running and then swinging, it was the same animation as just standing. But I digress. I'm getting sidetracked now. We're just shitting on God of War, which we could do all day, to be honest. But
that's like my second profession is shitting on God of War.
yeah. But like, people hate when we say movie game, yet you have the director actually mentioning they want to make movies. Correlation doesn't always equal causation. However, this is pretty clear he wants to make movies. Now, my prediction is this game that he is apparently working on, which is allegedly a game in space, or in some capacity. His tweet. His tweet was, after ages in the wild of the Badlands, I returned to the mothership to cause chaos. That's from Corey Barlog. So if there is a game still...
And how old is that tweet?
How old's the tweet? Stupid me. I didn't record.
Oh, I thought you had like a screenshot of it. Okay, keep going.
I did have a screenshot, but
I feel like it's been ages since we've even heard anything about like this proposed game that's being worked on.
August. Oh, so that was in August. That was in August 2024. Sorry.
Okay, so not that long ago.
Yeah, not too long ago. So he is apparently still working on that, and but I believe that it's like a side thing. I feel like, just personal opinion, that he's working more on the TV show than he is the actual game.
Like, he finished 2018. That's 6 years ago now.
That's it. Yeah, and I'm just like, where is this game? We haven't heard. We didn't even get an artwork piece on it, and like even The Last of Us Online got 2 pieces of artwork. Even
Factions got two oil paintings that were lovely, by the way,
and a smile from Neil. No, just joking. He doesn't smile. But yeah, like this IGN article, by the way, sorry, that I was quoting from before, was from September 2021. So that was back when he announced that he wasn't director. So at least from 2021, he wasn't directing God of War Ragnarok. So any updates from these games? I don't know. And like I did mention, like I was arguing a little bit about, a lot of people acknowledge that back to the Spider-Man thing, like sort of tease in from this as well, is that a lot of people acknowledge now that DLCs are getting cancelled to become full new games. Like God of War Ragnarok's story was Corey's idea to be DLC for 2018, and then they swelled it to a full game. Now, I'm not calling Ragnarok DLC. I'm saying that they went, why make a DLC when we can sell a full price?
I'm calling it DLC. I'll say it right now, bitch. Anyone can fight me in the comments because 100% that was easily 10 hours of DLC content, like a good 10 hours. That could have been a solid 10 hours of DLC content that they bloated into like a 35-hour hot mess that I did not think was nearly as good. And the people that glaze God of War Ragnarok, I think like you have a head condition or you just don't play that many games, because it was so clear. Like, it's so glaringly obvious that parts of that game are like padding, like just like obtuse, out of nowhere, left field padding for the sake of padding. And it's just like, you're gonna tell me that a 2-hour segment where you pick fruit on the back of an ox is like needed in that game, or like climbing a stupid wall, or like a bunch of like the back and forth crap that you have to do in that game? Like, really? I don't think so. But back to your point.
Yeah. So these games that swell up from DLC, they are not like Sony Studios is not doing the DLC anymore. They're just going to make a new game, right? Like they did with Miles Morales. Instead of making DLC, they made that a game. So that's why it makes sense that Spider-Man 2 didn't get DLC, and they're just going to make a game for it, right? So people can acknowledge that that's what they're doing.
But we don't even know if that's happening. People are just like, speculating that that's happening.
Yeah, speculating. Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is, it's their mentality of being okay with it, and so they're accepting that that's okay. Yet remasters take just as much resources, right, as any DLC, probably less, but it's still resources, and it's still slowing up games. These games are taking so long. Like, look at Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog is egregiously remastering and remaking games, not giving you any extra content. And like, everyone wants to talk about Last of Us Online, like that would have been really good, but yeah, anyway, you didn't get anything. And anyway,
to put a pause on that, it's just like, okay, to think that The Last of Us Part 2 factions or whatever the online game was supposed to be, to think that that was probably going to be really good, just think about this. Sony made the decision to flush that fucking game down the toilet, and then they also made the decision to release Concord. Okay? And we all know how well Concord did. If Sony thought that the Factions Part 2 was so fucking dog shit that they decided to flush hundreds of millions of dollars, allegedly, down the toilet, even tens of millions of dollars, but it's probably like $100 or $200 million down the fucking toilet, pretty much doing their work to combat inflation by fucking deleting money that's out in the open. Rather than release it, but they released Concord because they thought, this is going to be pretty good. Just shows you how fucking shit that game was going to be. And it's just like, if you thought it was going to be good, you are coping. You are coping so hard. You are so high off of copium. You are lost.
Exactly. And they always lean back to, no, they just didn't want to become a live service developer. That's what that would have happened. And it's like, oh my God, you got given the biggest amount of like bullshit and you just sucked it up. You're just like, oh, look at me, I'm eating it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, because like that was what the official thing was. Like, oh, we were just worried about becoming a live service. Like, dude, it doesn't happen overnight, and you can always just end support. It's meant to be a free to play game, right? Although it probably would have been $40, which is fine. That's a different discussion. But like you said, Jimmy, they didn't ship it. I don't give a shit why they said it, but if it was a good game, they would have shipped it. That's just all there is to it. And this copium about, oh, they didn't want to become a live service. Well, what are they then? A remaster fucking studio? Is that better? Fuck
it's
off.
like if the game would have been successful or good, and then they would have generated a lot of revenue, then they could have just like hired a live service division and then handed it off to them, and then had their like single player division. And I know like it's so big, and it's just like that just becomes your whole revenue stream. And if the game does do really well, then you're forced to just like keep putting out more updates to that. But it's just like you could have worked around that. But I think that's just like mad copium. But like, so something I want to touch on that you kind of touched on, and I feel like I've been saying, I think both of us have been saying this for years now. A lot of people that are in game development direction, specifically directors, I feel like they don't want to be in the games industry. They want to be in the movie industry or the TV show industry. And it definitely, I would argue it started with a lot of the Naughty Dog games. So like the Uncharted series, and then even The Last of Us. And when you look at The Last of Us, you're kind of like, yeah, it's a neat story, but it's like, is it the most unique story? It's like the show did really well, but like when it comes to like zombie stories, it's like, it's kind of blasé. Like, it's just like, it's like, I don't know. I don't feel like it's that like innovative. And the same with a lot of these directors. Like, they make these like, people like glaze these super long narrative cutscenes and blah, 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 blah. And a lot of the times I feel like the dialogue, the acting, and a lot of the shit that's in these cutscenes is like CW level. So CW is like this dog shit channel in North America that has like all the second rate like DC TV shows and stuff, and like a lot of bad acting shows. Okay. That's what it feels like to me. And yeah, like you see it with like Cory Barlog, you see it with Neil Druckmann. Like that's why he's like full in to the Last of Us TV show now. And it's just like, yeah, like I feel like that's where his priorities are now. And you even see that like the Game Awards, when they try to like, they force like hand fist us these fucking celebrities to like be there, like fucking what's his face, Robert De Niro. Al Pacino was there, and like didn't even know where he was, and was like, okay.
I felt bad for him.
Yeah,
like,
and then like
the man so much, like, don't do this to him.
Nicolas Cage is like, yeah, I'm in this game, I guess. It's just like he goes up there, and then you got fucking Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel himself. Like, yeah, we used to play video games back in the day, and they're like, yeah, totally, and like, here's our shit Fast and Furious game that like no one ever played. But yeah, like that's just what I feel like is people get into games and then, but what their real aspirations are, they want to be a part of that Hollywood spotlight. And so that's why they go in that direction. And you know what? I also see it in Hideo Kojima as well. Like a lot of people glaze him.
Yeah. I'm glad you said it because I was going to say it. Yeah.
I've said it before and I've been criticized for saying it. And the reason why I brought this up is because Luke Stevens on his live chat and his YouTube channel, he brought up this like hot take of an opinion, which I actually agreed with. Hideo Kojima, we've said it before, or I've said it before, has taste. Nobody can deny that. He's got 1,000%. Great taste. I feel like the aesthetic that he like picks or like goes for always looks like super dope. I'm really into it. It has a lasting impression. His dialogue is dog shit. Like it's just like a lot of the dialogue or like the words spoken is very messy. It feels like it's written by a 14-year-old. And I've said that before. I'm like, this story feels like it was written by like a teenage boy. And then people are like, no, like you just don't get the nuance. It's like, no, I do. It's very juvenile.
I had wondered whether that was sort of like a cultural difference, like the writing may have been better in Japanese.
That's a really good point. I thought about that too.
Yeah. So I wondered whether that's why I never really commented on that. But yeah, the tasting, there's no denying it. But let's look at Death Stranding. Death Stranding at launch, not the director's cut version, not the new version, the base version. The reason a lot of people get confused about what does movie game even mean? It means that the gameplay is secondary to everything else.
Yeah.
And that's not how a game should be, because games are the only medium that have gameplay in them. Movies and anyway, whatever. So the whole point is that they're putting the gameplay secondary, and Death Stranding is 100% that, is that the gameplay was secondary. There was no like minimal combat and stuff like that. They added combat later, and like the
I didn't even know that they added that to the director's cut. The base game didn't even have a lot of that.
Yeah, because I think I remember you streaming it and you being like, oh, this is not so bad. And I was like, yeah, but the base game didn't have that.
Yeah.
You're a postal service guy, which is fine. Games can have that. And I'm just saying about, it's not that it's not the absence of gameplay. It's that it's secondary to the main goal, which is putting forward a good movie to you. And I'm 100%, I'm so glad you said Hideo Kojima. I feel like he's the worst offender of he should be making movies. Does that mean his games are bad? I'm not saying they're bad. It's pretty clear that he wants to be making movies. And now he's trying to blur the lines between movie and games now. Like that's a direct quote from him from the Game Awards or a similar show. And I'm interested to see exactly how he does that with the Xbox exclusive he's doing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm interested to see what it is. Like, just because he has taste. Like I said, I've said previously, that Death Stranding 2 trailer where the guitar, like the guy starts playing guitar when they're about to fight. My missus is like, what is going on? And I'm just like, Hideo Kojima, man, he can do whatever he wants.
Exactly. And it's just, no, you brought up, and people like, they like knock and you're like, oh, I can't like movie game. Like, I hate when people try to bro you and like you said, your friend was just like, the combat is wooden, like God of War. Are we even talking about this? It's like, shut the fuck up, okay? Like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're trying to bro me, and like, I'm not wearing these glasses for fun, people. It's just like, I'm a nerd. I grew up a fucking nerd. You're all appropriating my culture. Like, okay, shit. I've been playing video games damn near my whole life. And it's just like, so don't try to bro me when I tell you that it's a fucking beat 'em up. It's like you mash a couple of buttons and that's as deep as the combat gets. And when we say movie game, exactly how Wara described it, when we can tell that the majority of your resources went to the cinematics and narrative of the game, that is what we consider a movie game or a story game. If it is very obvious that you put a lot of time and effort into the gameplay or the core loop, and then you also put a few resources into the cinematics or the story or whatever, I could definitely say like that game is more focused on gameplay. But yeah, like you watch this documentary that we're watching right now, a lot of it is just like how they figured out the facial movements and just like how they could get the narrative across. So they were not spending a lot of time on the combat. Does that statement mean that they spent no time on the combat? No, it does not. It just, you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
tell where their primary focus was, and that's what we're saying. But I 100% agree. The game being on the back burner for over 6 years now is just a testament to just how fucking trash modern gameplay development is, and we need to like fix that ASAP. Whether that's going to be AI that fixes that, or we got to get these people out of the fucking mocap suits. I don't know what needs to happen, but something needs to happen where you're able to put out a game semi-regularly, and people should be taking notes from the Yakuza team that they've been releasing a game like every year, like and they're good games apparently. Like people are liking them, so they're doing something right. So follow what they're doing. But yeah, 6 years and we haven't seen a lick of anything. Not a good sign. The fact that like he's just been like hard working on this TV show and then it's dropped like its main showrunner and one of the executive producers, that's also not a good sign. And now they pick someone else up and then they're like, oh, like savior, like it's gonna be great. I don't have a lot of hope in these things because it's very, very rare for a TV adaptation of a video game to be good. I think shows like The Last of Us were rare, and I think like a lot of things like Pedro Pascal, and then even the girl who plays Ellie, they did a lot of the heavy lifting in that in that show.
100%.
And then plus because it's just like a very generic zombie show, and then it's also like backed by HBO. It's kind of hard to mess that formula up, in my opinion. But yeah, sorry to cut you off. Did you have anything else that you wanted to mention for this topic?
No, I think that's it. Like I've got my points across, and I feel like you've made very good points.
That's right. That's why I got the 17 cents, because I make.
You got the glasses as well.
Yeah, exactly. I don't wear these for fun, people. I got something fun that we're going to move into. So we're going to do a tier list. I wanted to do a tier list from the last few years, but it was really hard and I didn't want to go find all the images. So we're just going to do a tier list for the 2024 video games released so far. And then to make this fair, we're going to choose ones that we have actually played. So I thought this might be a fun little exercise for us to do. What do you think, Wara?
Sorry, I just let her laugh because you put Zhao in there.
I didn't make this. I just searched for it.
Sorry.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
I didn't put. I didn't make these lists because I didn't want to look for all the pictures and like it was going to be a pain in the ass. So we're just going to do games that we've played. So let's start off. Is this the new Legend of Zelda? I can't even see it. It's so tiny.
Yeah, it's so small. Oh, that's a Peach. That's the Peach game. That's that Princess Peach game.
Okay, so you haven't played that, but you did just play. Oh, well, is this going to ruin your review?
No, I won't ruin the review.
Okay, where would you put it?
So this is coming from someone who didn't play or didn't enjoy Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. I'm going to put it in S tier.
Oh, wow. Starting off S tier. So for those of you listening, we're doing a tier list of video games that released in 2024. There's a bunch of games up here. We're only going to choose the ones that we've played, and the tier goes from D to S. So D being the worst, and then there's C, B, A, and S tier is the ultimate peak of gaming.
So to clarify, is this just personal opinion, or is this like base game reviews where we'd put it?
Personal opinion.
Okay, sick. Yeah, okay, cool.
Because I haven't played that game, so I can't.
Yeah, leave it at S tier. Yeah, no, that's cool. I just want to make sure I can have fun with this.
Okay, I'm gonna pick one. I played a lot of games this year, but there's a lot of these that I haven't played. I love that they got. You know what? I'm gonna, because this came out on PC this year, but I played it on PS5, so I'm gonna rate this. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, weird.
Ghost of Tsushima, mid. That shit is mid. Mid as fuck.
My twin's actually playing that at the moment, and they're loving the combat, and they're 4. So
yeah,
okay. Not saying it's a bad game.
hack and slash. It's a hack and slash, and then they complicated it by like putting stances. But like all the stances do is just like, haha, this other Mongol is using a different stance than you. You have to change your stance and then just mash a button. And this game is egregious for its cutscenes and then trying to be cinematic, and then they just come off as generic, and it's just bad writing, like very bland generic writing. And people are like with the thumbnail of them crying because the game like hit them so emotionally. It's just like, are you inbred? Like, I don't like, have you not watched like peak cinema? Like, do you not, I don't know, like people who thought
a comparison for what makes these people cry. Otherwise,
like The game's mid. It's horrendously mid. It tried to incorporate a bunch of mechanics that didn't really work. Like, it's got a grapple mechanic that sucks. One thing that I really hate is like the insta-fail stealth missions that are dog shit. I hate when you fight a boss, it won't let you use any of your throwables because you're like, oh, it's because it's dishonorable to be a samurai and use throwables during a boss. It's like, I just slit 18 throats to get to this boss. So I feel like I should be able to use my throwables. And I hate how the combat is very like, it's like Mortal Kombat in a way. It's like very left and right, and it's also color coded. So like it'll be like flash blue, and you're like, ooh, okay, do this when it flashes blue, and then flash red. Oh, I gotta do something different. And all the side missions are just like very rinse repeat garbage, and they also lock progression behind side content instead of combat. So like for materials that you need for upgrades, you can't just like farm combat situations. You have to complete side missions, and I hate that because it's like, you're forcing me to fucking chew down this fucking side content that wasn't good enough to be the main content. So I'm blasting it out there. Ghost of Tsushima, mid as fuck, dude.
All right, Helldivers 2 for me next. Can you hover it over S tier, but don't drop it?
Okay, where?
In the middle, sorry, dead center, like dead center, I think.
Oh yeah, here it is.
All right, hover over S. Okay, so the community, when this came out, just carried the hell out of this game, and it was an S tier game for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And then, now drop it to D, but don't let go of it. But then the community manager came out and said, the reason we're forcing PSN is because we want to be able to ban people, and it makes it easier. And then the console fan base was just cancerous and just didn't understand PC. But we'll put it in B tier because at the end of the day, it was a good game and there was a lot going on. It wasn't like unique, but they really did nail the PvE feel, and the group like the community, yes, carried the hell out of it, which is what pulled it to S tier. But then they really fucked up with that PSN stuff later on, and how they handled it. It was just cancer.
Yeah.
So
okay, if you're gonna put Helldivers in B, I'm gonna move Ghost to C. Like that's just how I feel. But like, okay, this is my outsider's view on Helldivers. Definitely, I feel like that game was S tier when it launched. Like the whole like for democracy shit, like the comparison to Starship Troopers, the atmosphere, the vibe, total amazing, awesome, exactly what the gaming community needed at that time. The whole PSN fiasco, garbage. This is a prime example of what happens when you let boomer fucking executives make boomer executive idiot decisions, and they completely just like shit on their fan base by making these dumbass decisions. And then apart from that, what they did is they kind of got in their own heads a little bit, and like I think a lot of us are guilty of this. You will have an original vision for your game, and sometimes you have to make compromises, and I feel like Helldivers was not willing to do that. So when your fans and like the main audience like all say like, we don't like your nerfs that you've done in this game, like it made it less fun, you can't just be hard-headed and be like, well, that's just how I imagined it. It's just like you got to like bend to your fans a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to go into that, but I didn't want to go, but I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, like I just feel like they should have been a little bit more open-minded with some of their nerfs, and like it's sometimes you take the L and just be like, okay, we were wrong, and then reverse it. Like if it means people are having more fun and playing your game more, always go with that option.
Yeah, so one more thing, the Helldivers 2 is a great example of you not needing to be a jack of all trades. It does one thing and it does it well, and that's just all it needs sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, next game for me, Dragon's Dogma 2. I gave it a really good rating, but I'm going to give it an A. It's not quite S tier. It's an A. I thought it was... when I remember, like, I don't know, War, if you remember this, it was like right a little bit closer to launch. I was like, I don't think I'm going to enjoy this game. Like, I feel like it's going to be clunky as shit. And it is, but I started to really love it. And what I loved about this game is it it was probably one of the best examples of teamwork in a video game, because you get these pawns who are like pretty much like they're co-opers, they're AI co-opers. And it was really awesome to build your crew of pawns and just take on these huge like field challenges, like a huge ogre or like a huge griffin, and just like how well you work together with your different attributes, like whether one's a mage, one's a warrior, one's an archer, whatever. And you just like you use teamwork to conquer like a huge challenge. And I love that. And I also love that like at first I was like, oh, no fast travel, that's kind of garbage. But like you would have to run these super long stretches in between villages, and you felt the threat because like shit could knock you out, and then you're just like, well, like you like it permanently takes down your health bar until like you sleep at a camp or something. And so like you would be like a little freaked out, and it'd put a little bit of urgency into you. Where I felt like the game could have done a lot better was its story. I felt like the story was a little bit bland, but the gameplay is definitely where they put their focus, and I felt the gameplay was definitely kick ass. But it's just like it's one of those games that's frustratingly so close to being S tier, but just didn't quite make it.
Yeah, and to get S tier, you got to just nail it. So what you touched on with the whole the group group makeup, or like seeing your build working together in a group and like how it all turns out and seeing it in action is just what me and Max, he's not here, but me and Max love about the Gambit system with Final Fantasy 12. It's just like you see it in action, you set it all up, you tell them all what to do, and basically the game plays itself, and you're just like watching it in real time. You're like, holy shit, this is so good. And so I can understand. I do want to play that game. I haven't got around to it, but it's on the back burner just because we got so many games this year, and we're trying to review opposite games, me and Jimmy. So yeah, but I'm definitely interested.
Okay, another thing is I just want to quickly add, I ripped on this game for having really shit performance, but it turns out a lot of the performance issues that I was having in the beginning were my fault. I just built the new PC, and there was some fine tuning that I didn't quite do, and that was causing a lot of the crashes that I was experiencing. But I will not defend the fact that it just like takes a frame dip shit when you enter a town because of all the NPCs AI, like all of their AI for their pathing, all of their dialogue and stuff just destroys your CPU. And that's why the game just ran so garbage on console. So that's another thing that I will not defend. But anyway, okay, your turn.
Yep. Okay, so next I'm gonna pick Zhao. Just get this one out of the way.
What row is it? Oh yeah, here it is.
Bottom 4 from the left. Yeah. So the issue.
Where are you gonna put it?
The issue for me, I'm gonna put it in C, and the reason I'm putting in C is because
that's right, people. Ghost of Tsushima is just as good as Zhao. I'll stand by that.
Yeah. So the issue for me with Zhao is that it has rock, paper, scissors combat, where it's like the blue shield, you got to hit with the blue spell, and then the red with the red. And then like it's not open world enemies. You're locked in, like walls come up and you got to kill them, and then it unlocks and you keep going. So they're not just like generally they're not like randomly placed. Sometimes they are, but they're not always. And I ended up quitting after the 3rd boss, and you have to like run away, and I just kept getting hit, and I'm just like, this is just dumb, and the hitboxes were terrible. And it's only not D because it's a passion project, and I do give a little bit of leniency for a passion project. I know Jimmy doesn't like me doing it, but I give a little bit of leniency, not in the BGR reviews, but like within myself, because I'm a passionate person, and when they say they want to build a specific game, I'm all for that. So I don't want to shit on it for too long.
See, that's why we balance each other out. Wara has a heart, I don't. Like I will be. I don't know. Let's just leave it at that. I don't have a heart.
yeah. Well, there's no need to. Like anyway. So I see what they were doing, and it wasn't terrible, but it was pretty bad. But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the team got laid off, I think. So, but we're not laughing about that.
No, I think their studio did close down.
Yep.
And it's like you can have a vision, but especially when it comes to gaming, the core part of your vision should be like, how does this game play? And then once you've got that locked down and you've got like a really good gameplay loop that people enjoy, like anyone, no matter what your game is about, should be able to sit down with your game and be like, this is fun. This is enjoyable. And then you add those extra layers on top of that afterwards. But when you focus on that stuff first and then you kind of just try to shoehorn in gameplay, this is where you end up. And I hate to see it, but like it is the case.
Yeah, and see, people get short-sighted by the fact they want to tell a story that people enjoy. They'll enjoy the story better if you make a good game. So just, that's it. That's final, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is one that I want to pick, but I'm going to be the bigger person. I'm going to let you pick this one later whenever you do.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Stellar Blade. And Stellar Blade, I'm going to say is S tier.
Oh.
Here's why.
Is there 2 reasons or 4 reasons, I guess? Why?
Yeah, how many reasons are there? There's definitely more than 2.
About weighing up emotions?
Yeah, just sorry, weighing it out here. Okay, this game is kick ass. It's just a good time action game. I had a lot of fun with it. The dialogue is a little bit stiff at times, but like I totally get what they're going for, and you can totally tell. I feel like it's just a language barrier, and it's just like how they like it was their first big game, and so. But what sold me on this game was watching the behind the scenes that Sony released, and what I loved about that is the creators had like the whole team just play the game and be like, who can beat the boss first? And like they did shit like that, and you can tell because everything is just seamless and it all works together and nothing's like kind of like fighting against the other. The boss designs were great. Like the design aesthetic, the design language and like entirely was just like really good. A lot of fun abilities. The only thing that like stopped it from being like a game of the year contender for me was the fact that it is just an action game and there isn't a lot of depth to it. But that's pretty much it. But could it be action game of the year? Absolutely. If Wukong didn't come out, I definitely think that this would be action game of the year. But for it being the studio's first foray into like the AAA or like a console game, because I think they just made mobile games before. Fucking bravo, dude! Like just crushing it, and the fact that on a pitiful base PS5, it runs at locked 60 FPS in performance mode. It runs at locked 30. It actually runs above 30 FPS in quality mode, and then there's a balance mode that like almost hits 60 a lot of the time. It's in like the low and mid 50s a lot of the time. So the fact that they have those modes, beautiful. And they've been updating the shit out of it, and it's just like continuously getting updates, better graphics. I think it's got better physics in certain areas.
I think they increased the physics as well.
Yeah, I think they increased the physics. Do you see what I'm doing here, people? Hope you're catching on.
Sure I might be high. I might have to go high because you might cut off the bottom.
Yeah, in just some areas. But
they weighed up their options. They juggled what they wanted to do. And one of your critiques from your review was that the audio for when you're running around had vocals in it, and you said that becomes more repetitive because your mind sort of like hears vocals more than just like background music. But I believe that they either added soundtracks or something like that. And because I remember hearing it and I went, that like Jimmy's feedback must have been like, maybe they didn't watch the BGR review or listen to the.
I think they did. We're above 250 subscribers. So like people are tuning in. Like
they're noticing. They have to
they're noticing.
We're massive. Yeah. But it is good seeing that, like when you have an issue that the devs will fix it. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, I love that. Like you can tell that they have passion in their game. They just want to make it the best game possible. So, Stellar Blade, fantastic game. Don't wait till it for the PS5 Pro enhancements. Play it on your base PS5. It kicks ass. Even though the base PS5, as we all know, is outdated piece of shit now that the PS5 Pro is out. But yeah, please play Stellar Blade if you haven't.
That's it.
Okay, what's your next pick?
All right, so my next pick is going to be, I think this is the one you were going to leave for me, which is Animal Well.
No.
Is that the one you were leaving?
Because I never played Animal Well.
Oh, okay, cool.
Bigger game.
Animal Well.
You're going to go with Animal Well? Okay.
Animal Well, for
Where
you.
is it? It's over here. S tier.
Yep. S tier, 1000%. The guy who did all the audio, everything for this, he even built the engine for it. One guy, and like once again, like, yes, that's a passion project, but at the same time, the puzzles are amazing in it. It's all on one big map. The game has just like amazing charm in its visual design. It was a beautiful game to play. I really enjoyed it on the Portal, but the developer even did all the, like, there's like a kangaroo in it, an emu in it. He even did all the audio for that for himself. And it was just great to see. And then another good thing about it is it's now coming to Xbox. It wasn't on Xbox before. It's now coming to Xbox, and more people are going to be able to enjoy it. And I just check it out if you haven't already. I 1000% recommend that. But you have to enjoy puzzles, because the whole thing is just a puzzle. You're in a well and you got to get out, and you're just a little squishy boy.
It's all just one big puzzle.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I was when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's definitely a war game. But also it just goes to show you guys, it's just like, if you have a passion for video games, the time is now. It's never been easier to like get into game development, and like you might have like the next banger game out there, so you never know. Okay, I don't know what else I can pick here, because I'm leaving the last thing that I played to you, because I want you to talk about it and I want to hear what you say about it. Maybe we can both talk about it.
Okay, yeah. I figured out what it is now.
Yeah, I've only got the one game, so let's talk about it together. But I want to take this as a kind of dishonorable mentions to mention some shit that we didn't play this year. So, yeah. Rise of the Ronin. I was actually semi-excited for this, and I was like, okay, Neo 1 and 2 were okay. I get the appeal to those. Yeah. Wo Long sucked. Like, Wo Long, like anyone who tells me that Wo Long was good, I can't trust you. It sucked. Like, it looks dated. It feels dated. Yeah, trash game. And then when I heard that they were like specifically making a new game for PlayStation, Rise of the Ronin, and I was like, okay, this actually might be decent. And then we saw gameplay for it, and I was like, dude, this is the same broken shit that was like in Wo Long. Like, the game looks bad, the color palettes are wrong, they just do all of the things that people don't want in a Souls-like. I thought this game was just like a flunker. That's why it came out. No one talked about it. People try to be like, oh, it's actually good. And then no one gave a shit about it. And then, you know what I find funny is when fanboys have those tweets or those posts, and they're like, they say the PlayStation ain't got no games. And then that's one of the pictures that are in amongst the games that they're talking about. It's just like, did you play Rise of the Ronin? That game sucked. It's just like, that's not to be bragged about. Like, that should be off your little list. Like, don't put that up there.
Yeah, the game came and went. And like, someone recently, before Ghost of Yosuke was announced, they were just dying for Ghost of Tsushima 2. I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, just I love samurai combat. I'm like, oh, did you enjoy Rise of Ronin? Oh no, I didn't play it. And it's just like, okay. And this is a PlayStation person, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
If you love, just play another samurai game. You got it right there. PlayStation paid for you to have it exclusively. So,
okay, you pick a game from this list that you haven't played that you want to kind of like poo on, or give secret praise.
Okay. I want to put in Ubisoft, that game called Prince of Persia. That's it. The Lost Crown, third from left. Yep. So this game here is getting good praise, but the issue is they wanted way too much money for it, and I feel like they just and like, price point is important. While a game could be any amount, it's like, come on, like I'm gonna put it in D because of them not understanding what they asked for and how well this would have sold if they had just asked less money, and they would have had so much. This was one of the reasons they started going down the shit list this year. It's just because people called it a flop, but it flopped because it was too expensive. Yeah. Make it the right price point is important. I work in sales. Price point is fucking important. If something is $1 million and then you put a line through it and say $50, a lot of people will just be like, well, fuck you for asking $1 million for it to begin with. Yeah. And not a lot of people will do that, but you know what I'm saying. Some people would love it. Anyway, This game I've heard a lot of praise about, but a lot of people say it flopped, and I agree with Jimmy when he said if it came out at a much lower price point, people would have jumped on it, myself included. I saw the price, I'm like, do I really want to pay that much for a Metroidvania game? And Ubisoft, you need to get different management. This is just terrible.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I feel like I'm right about this. I feel like my memory is pretty good.
Yeah.
Weren't they trying to charge 70 USD for this game?
Oh, maybe.
It was 60 or 70. It was like legit, like full AAA prices.
Price. Yeah, I'm pretty certain it was at least 60. I'm pretty certain.
And like that is ludicrous for a side-scroller Metroidvania. This game should have been like $40 tops. And that's exactly what tanked it. People are like, okay, a Metroidvania, and it's just like, all right, like that's already like a small market that are wanting to play that type of game. And it functioned well. It was very fluent. I didn't really have any issues when I played the demo. But like, like the audacity to charge 60, 70 USD for this fucking game. I put that because someone made a post about, because this team shut down and now they're being dispersed throughout Ubisoft, and I was like, trying to launch your game at 60 or 70 USD, like bold move, Cotton, let's see how it pans out. And then some, you know who, like one of those actually was like, it's $40, and I'm like, it did not launch at $40. Exactly. It's like, shut the fuck up. But
because how much you spend on a game, like when someone says, oh, I love this, like X game, like any game, like, I loved it, it's like, oh, how much did you pay for it? Oh, I got it for free, someone bought it for me. And sort of, that's why at base game reviews we mention how we got access to a game, because I feel like how much you spend and stuff like that, it does affect, you know, how you feel about it.
It absolutely does. If you get 100%. A free key, or if somebody buys you a game, you're inherently going to show appreciation by glazing that game a little bit more, because you want that behavior to repeat. You want another free key from that developer or studio. You want more people to buy you games. So like, you're going to be like, oh, thank you for the game, it was great. And it was just like that sweater that your grandma got you for Christmas. It's like, great sweater, Grandma. It's like, now wear it right now. It's just like, absolutely, it's great, I love it. But meanwhile, nobody fucking buys it, and then the fucking team gets shut down. So again, this is what happens when boomers make stupid boomer decisions that are tone deaf to the gaming audience and what people are actually saying. It's just like, that game was way too expensive. It should have come in at a lower price point. If you're telling me that they could not afford to charge only $40 for that game, then you are laundering money, or there is massive mismanagement of funds at your studio for that game to have to be charged that much money. Okay, so enough of that. The game I was hoping you'd pick, but you didn't, is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So let's give our reviews for this. I'll let you go first. What tier do you want to put this in?
So, someone who never played the original Final Fantasy VII. So that's me.
That's why I feel like your opinion is very unique.
And not just that, I did all the side content, and Jimmy didn't. I don't believe you did every side mission.
No. Later on, because I was trying to platinum the game, so I did all of the grasslands area stuff, and then the second area stuff, I'm blanking on the names, and I have played the original. And then I stopped because I was like, it's too much.
Yeah, no, that's okay. No, that's okay. Just because for me, this would be an A tier if I hadn't completed one of the side content things, which is when you get to see, who's the guy who gives you those VR missions? What's his name again? I can't remember his name.
Oh my, Chadley, yeah.
I was like, he's Simon. He's anything but a Chad. He's anything but a fucking Chad.
He is not a Chad.
Anyway, fucking Chadley. From memory, I did every single side mission. The side mission that I got to see him get tortured, I was like, this is an S tier game. S tier. Fuck that guy.
I'm also putting S tier.
Chadley.
Not
Chadley,
for that.
Fucking Spudley. Jesus Christ.
Spudley. I'm surprised Wukong isn't on this list. Weird. Depends on when this list was made. But okay, we're talking
should
about
we should we add more? Should we add more? Because we've definitely there's more games that we've played this year that aren't.
there definitely is more. I don't know how to add to someone else's list. Oh, I can choose files right here. Okay, well, it's too late for that.
That's too late. Yeah, it's all good.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. As someone who played the original when it came out and has done multiple playthroughs of Final Fantasy VII on PS1, this game was a love letter. Like this game, it not at any point in Rebirth did it take away from the original. Okay, what I will say though is that this game far exceeded my expectations. All the content that they put in there, apart from like a lot of the little side game stuff that you can do, because I didn't play a lot of that stuff, but this game just hit on all cylinders. The characters were fantastic. The relationships that you build with them was fantastic. It did the story justice. The card game was phenomenal. Even I don't like card games, but when I learned it, I was like, okay, cool. Now I get it. Like it's easy enough, even for a person like me who hates puzzles and hates games, to get. I liked it. The bosses were great. The combat was improved on all of the gripes that people had with the remake version of the game. It just kicked ass. It literally, like, I to this day cannot watch the end cutscene without getting emotional. Like it just brings up so many emotions of just like how I had, like, it's just like for like a week I could not play another game because I was just like blown away. I was just like, wow. I was just like, that was just so good. And I just have no idea how they're going to top this with the third and final installment of the game. There were a lot of great games this year. Wukong was fantastic, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth still for me is going to be my game of the year choice, and I really hope it wins game of the year this year.
Yep. So if I could add the other games, Space Marine 2, absolutely S tier. What's that other game?
Surprise shock of the year, Space Marine 2. Like the last Warhammer game didn't even do that well, and then it was like, more Warhammer, and then
Darktide just got fixed, and now its reviews aren't so mixed on Steam, so there was a big issue. I was avoiding it until it was fixed because I saw mixed and heard people complaining. But apparently they fixed a lot of things, but that's not on PlayStation yet. That was weird. Other games. Oh, what's that other game I played that it was like a Souls-like God of War game? Got a 63 or 58.
Flintlock?
Yeah, Flintlock. Yeah, I was looking forward to that game for 2 years. So no one try and fucking tell me I'm a hater. I was following that game for ages, and that flopped. I'll give that a C tier. What's the other games? Dave the Diver, A tier. That game was really good, like a pixel game similar to Animal Well, where you just go around.
Hellblade 2, I'll give that a D.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we did. We both played that. Jeez, that was so short. We both played it. We both had time. Damn. Fuck.
Yeah, like the game took that many years, and then to be that short, and then the story sucked. Like you tell that they like ran out of money, ran out of time, and they had to like hobble together some shit ending. Terrible.
Oh, that was terrible, man. That was so
I'm also just going through my list of games. Oh, Outlaws, D tier, obviously. Garbage. Like I wanted to like Kay Vess. Like Kay Vess was kind of a cool character, but they just like they kneecapped her so hard, and then like it was just like very typical modern day story tropes. Crippled that game, lackluster gameplay. The game's called Outlaws. You can't do anything worthy of being called an outlaw. Game sucks.
Oh, the Plucky Squire. I'll give that A tier for sure. Oh, and my missus just played it and she finished it and she's contemplating platinuming it.
When I watched your review and like you talking about that, I was like, that's a cool, I like that. Like you go from 2D to 3D. And then Starfield Shattered Space, we all know how I feel about that. D tier, gone. You're done.
Like my missus, when she was playing it, she got stuck a couple of times on the puzzles because you just sort of like forget like what you can and can't do. And she just like got so mad at herself for not figuring something out. I'm like, oh, you do this. And then she just kept saying like, oh, so smart. Like just because all the writing and stuff in it's so good and the puzzles are so cute and smart. Yeah, like well done. Concord, S tier. Concord, S tier.
They're bringing that back. We might have to review that again.
Here we go again. Oh shit, here we go again. Like the GTA
that was our tier list for games so far this year. I hope you guys had fun with that. You should do your own tier list and then tell us what you agree or disagree with in the comments. For those of you who want to come at me for the Ghost of Tsushima any day, anytime, bitch. I will go to your house and I will kick you in the nuts or in the genital area, whatever you got there. I will demolish and yeah, and then I will also rip up your homework, whatever, and spit
And if
in
you
your
want to
sandwich.
defend Rise of the Ronin, I want to see some trophies, please, in chat.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna move on and we're gonna talk about games that we're looking forward to. And War and I were having a discussion about this before we started recording, but I felt like War's choice was a fucking banger choice. Tell us about the one that you picked that you thought was gonna be a really good one that's coming out.
Doom: The Dark Ages. Now, to understand how big this is for me, I haven't even played Eternal. I don't give a crap about Eternal. I'm not interested. Not in the slightest, right? I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just not interested. I see Doom Eternal and go, eh.
What turned you off from Doom Eternal? Tell me about that.
Because I played Doom 20. You know how I'm bad with scary games.
Yeah.
Right? So like when I played Doom 2016, I was just like, oh, I'm just sweating too much. This is not really, but I just didn't really enjoy like I was too used to Call of Duty. I don't know what it was. I just didn't like it. And then I saw Doom Eternal. I'm like, there's just too much going on. I don't think I'm really interested I don't know. I think I prefer more RPG, slower paced stuff generally. And with shooters or just like Call of Duty. I don't know. But when I saw this, I was like, okay, this is exactly what I want. I'm so excited. And I think Space Marine 2 sort of made it. I know this has got nothing to do with Space Marine, but for some reason playing Space Marine has made me just want to just crush this game. Yeah. Maybe I'll go and play Doom Eternal. Maybe I should give it a go because
you should give it a go.
I'm definitely not saying anything negative about Doom Eternal. I know it's amazing, but yeah, it's just like maybe it's just too late. There's too many bloody games to play, but for all the games when Jimmy said, what are you looking forward to? I almost thought of like, I'm pretty excited for Mario Brothership, but at the same time, like, let's be real. This has got me excited.
Yeah, like I'm even watching it right now. Like I can't help but look at this gameplay, but like what they did in Doom Eternal, and I get why they did it because they want you to use all your weapons, is they drastically limited the amount of ammunition that you could hold. And the reason why they did this is because in Doom 2016, people just mowed through the whole game with the double shotgun. And it's just like, because that weapon rules. And so they're like, okay, well, we put all this effort into making these other guns cool and we want you to use them. So they purposefully kneecapped the ammunition for all the weapons. I do like the idea of that, of having to like constantly switch between weapons. But if you're like me and you're not a big person into shooters, I was not very proficient at that. And it was very clumsy. So it was very difficult for me. And I'm one of those people that just like pray and spray. In life and in games.
I've seen. Yeah, I've seen.
So like I would run out of ammo constantly and then like, oh, what's the button to change the weapons? And then again, I know this is a skill issue, but I was just saying I don't like being forced to play a certain way, and that's what turned me off from Doom Eternal. But
just added a mechanic where when you switch weapons, you've got like revitalized, like you do 20% more damage. Something to encourage the gamer to do it without forcing them, I think, is a better implementation.
Yeah.
If you sort of get what I'm saying. Like, instead of saying, okay, just give them more ammo, like the same amount of ammo without kneecapping the ammo, but just make it so that if they swap, they get some sort of bonus, like health regen, or they can move faster, or just anything like that to make it more exciting and give you a reason to
copy
change.
Armored Core 6, and it's like when you switch weapons really fast, you'll cause a stagger. Like you'll break posture much faster when you switch weapons and like do different kinds of damage. So that's something that they could do. But yeah, that portion did turn me off, but I did like the game still. But when I watched the gameplay for this, I was like, damn, this looks rad.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm still a little bit upset about how the whole thing went down with
is
it Mark?
I thought it was
it's an M name.
He's the guy. Yeah, he did the
he did the OST.
Maybe it was Michael.
Oh, it's gonna piss me off if we don't look this up.
Yeah, that was it. And you know what the sad thing about that is? That was like a lot of people commented without like people were discussing this morning about another topic where they're like just assuming how long things take, and it's just like, well, we can't just jump to conclusions. So with this thing, he got thrown under the bus. Sweet. Yeah, Mick Gordon got thrown under the bus, and then a year later he did a response. So I'm assuming he went to a lawyer about like responding.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a whole drama, and I felt so bad for him. Like the whole thing is just shit. Like, no, yeah,
Yeah.
I just felt bad for him.
And then it's just like, well, who's telling the truth? And it's like, it's kind of hard without like, I don't know, but I always lean more towards the artist than like a corporation, I would say. But I feel like I definitely believe all the shit that went down and the stuff that he wrote out. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like shit like a boomer executive would totally do. I
agree. But when a company says something, it's coming from a mouthpiece of the company.
Yeah.
It's not coming, and whatever they say has to make the company look as good as possible because they have shareholders.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be like, yeah, we fucked up, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's like so much easier to throw one person under the bus. Like it's just how it is.
Yeah. And like the original post came from the director of Doom Eternal, and it's just like, but still like, if it wasn't approved by like their legal or whatever, they would have made him take it down, and he never took it down. He left it up forever. I think it was still left up even after Mick Gordon's rebuttal to it. But oh, and it sucks because you're like, oh, am I supporting that behavior by like getting this game? And it's just like, kind of yes, but it's just like the game looks awesome. I'm gonna play it anyway.
Yeah, that's it. So like, I know what you're saying, and that's sort of a different topic again, where it's just like things that you get mad about, and you're like, I'm gonna boycott, because I used to do a lot of things like oh, I'm gonna boycott No Man's Sky. Like I was like, I'm gonna boycott No Man's Sky. I'm gonna boycott Cyberpunk 2077 because of what they did at launch. You know, and sort of I used to have like a solid stance on it, but then I realized like life's too short and I can move on, but it's not like I forget. I just move on, and then each thing is like a case by case decision. So like if this game's really good, then I will do it, but I'm not going to I'm never going to forget what happened with Mick, and it's obviously upsetting, and at the end of the day, yes, it's just he said, she said at this point, but it's just like we all know what corporations are like.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And if he has a new project, I will support that. Cool. Well, okay. You might have already seen it in the tabs at the top here, just you, but this won't be in the video.
Yeah.
This might shock you, everybody, what I'm actually looking forward to. I had to have a long think about this. I'm actually looking forward to Death Stranding 2. And I never would have thought that I would be somebody who said that phrase, because I shit on the first game, but I still find myself thinking about it from time to time. And it's because the aesthetic, the atmosphere had an impact on me. And I'm not really necessarily looking forward to the gameplay. I'm more looking forward to the story. And I treat this like the next TV show that I'm going to be interested in watching. Because I had a long think and I was like, what am I looking forward to? Because I don't think From Software is releasing anything for some time. And I'm kind of just left here like that. Who's that big drug dealer? And there's that
sitting
meme
on the swing. Yeah. That's what I sent to my my mate who he finished the 100K Ultra.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is you now. He's like, oh, now he's doing 100 miles. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
No,
I know which meme you mean.
And that's how I feel. Like just like waiting for the next From Software game to come out. And I know there's a lot of like, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that's like gonna be like worth playing coming out, but like nothing that really, like, for me, I'm a From Software fanboy, so that's my home team. That's who I get excited to play whenever they have a new release, and then whenever they don't have a new release, I'm gonna be playing their back catalog, and then all these other games are just like sprinkles on the side to me. I know there's the Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. I know that there's Phantom Blade Zero. I know that there's all these other like Souls likes or Souls adjacent type games. Yes, I will play those, but I just know in my heart that a lot of those games are just going to be like the usual Unreal Engine slop, or like they're just going to be like, they're going to have the same issues that a lot of those games have. And I just know it already. So I was like, what am I actually looking forward to? And then Death Stranding 2, that's what I came to. I was just like, because I'm not looking forward to Indiana Jones. I'm not looking forward to what other
Fable, Avowed.
I'm not looking forward to Avowed.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yeah, no, like none of this shit. Like it's just like, I don't know. And then I think about this, and I'm just like, I think it was the photo mode that sold it to me.
Yeah.
I think it was the photo mode that sold it to me. So I just don't know what that could be, but. again, I want to emphasize that I'm not looking forward to the gameplay of this game. I'm looking forward to just like, if there is a story mode, I'm going to put it on story mode and I'm just going to fucking blast through the game and then just consume the story of it. And then that be that. And then that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and like, let's be honest, the gameplay in this should be a lot better. It should be like the director's cut of Death Stranding with extra added on top for sure. So it should be really good, gameplay wise anyway. So
I hope they twist. I hope they do something different. I hope it's not more just like connect the states or like continue the network or whatever. Like I hope there is some kind of gameplay twist, because that'll be kind of a letdown if it's just more of the same. But it's got great looking biomes. I don't know, like I definitely feel like it's gonna be like a feast on the eyes. Like it's gonna be like a really good game to look at. That's all we have for today. What we do want to get into is let's promote some of the stuff that we're working on. So if you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed to Warwana's channel. So he's been releasing his own videos here. He's got a lot of stuff coming up there. Tell us a bit more about what you're working on, or if there's anything that you want to promote coming out on your own channel.
Yeah. So on my own channel, I have that, and then I have gameplay on a different channel. But don't worry too much about that. It's just going to be dribs and drabs. Whereas this channel here, I'm doing like more news and rants and things like that. But I do want to I'm going to do a bit of a longer video that's going to release shortly about just how AA and AAA games.
Well, don't give it away.
Okay, just commenting on the industry in a more positive light, and where we can sort of head it and fix things that are concerning.
So let's help Wara get up to the BGR status of above 250 subscribers. He's sitting at 100. Congrats on 100. Look at that.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Cheers.
Yeah. So make sure you're following Wara's channel. Cool. Like Wara said earlier, like I just finished my Elden Ring easy mode beginner's guide on my gaming channel. So that's youtube.com/@Fornitron Gaming. I don't know what my next easy mode guide is going to be. I don't know if there will be one. Who knows? We'll see.
Could it be Stellar Blade?
But who knows? I did do my full playthrough on this channel. So like I would go live on this channel. I don't know if I'm going to anymore. I don't know. We'll see. I do. The YouTube live experience is okay. What I like about it is that you can turn off ads and then people don't have to watch ads. But the Twitch experience is just so much better, because like you could just like, you set it up and then you just go live, and you go live. With YouTube, you have to like schedule a live and then make a thumbnail for it and fill out a bunch of shit. I don't know. Like I like the Twitch live experience more. I'll see, but.
And also TikTok. Jimmy's doing
maybe we'll see if TikTok's even worth it.
Well, you got plenty of flowers there already. So.
I had that cash is rolling in because of my big whale viewers like yourself. Speaking of which, on Twitch, I'm twitch.tv/Jimmy Fornitron. I might change that to Fornitron Gaming. Who knows? To make it all sync together. But I have been going live. I did the whole Alan Wake 2 DLC playthrough on there, and I've been playing a little bit of Metaphor, and I did a Bloodborne test last night, and that was a lot of fun. But check us out, and then also make sure that you're going to basegamereviews.com and checking out our latest reviews there. And then if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel so you can check out our latest game reviews here. Wara, send us off. What else?
All right, yeah. So as Jimmy said, do all that. I'm Warwana. This is Fornitron. Make sure you are subscribed and enjoy your day. And let us know in the comments below where we fucked up on the tier list and what games you're most looking forward to.
We didn't fuck up. Ghost of Tsushima sucks. We're out of here, everybody. Cheers.
See you later. Bye.